Whew. Good afternoon. How are you doing? This is just real talk for Black people. Sit in your space. I come on here today and I'm in my emotions. I'm caught up in my emotions because where I wanted to do the show I was about to do was about the businesses that never give back. The quietest moments and the quietest threat to the poor communities. And as I read into it, everything in my gut, everything in my heart of hearts was telling me one thing. Ron, this is not the show you need to be doing today. This is not where the show needs to go today. And I thought about it even as I was going on the air and it clicked down to the last few seconds. I'm still thinking about what I really want to say. Because there was a time, and I'm gonna say it, I don't even need a script. There was a time in America when Black men knew that the strongest person in their household was that woman sitting behind the scenes. There was a time in America when a woman did what a man couldn't do. She raised her child, she went through life and everything else. And if you didn't do anything else, you respected her for that. I don't care what you did out there in the streets. I don't care how many women you chase out there in the street. If you had a child with a woman, if you had a woman in your life that you respected, you stood for her. I don't know, and I'm gonna say this with all sincerity. I don't know what's in the water today. I don't know what's taking our men and making them feel like they don't have to stand up for our women. Some women can stand up for themselves. I'm not saying maybe I'm not talking to those women, but I'm talking to a person who allows another person to take threats. You say, "Oh, that's just writing. It's emails. It's all kind of stuff," and they can take it. They big people. They get out there in social media. But for 1 minute, do you stop and think that they're human too? When you take a position, and in your position, you're so strong and dedicated in your position that you forget that they are women too. Do you forget that they can't stand up against a man and maybe go punch for punch? At one time in society, we recognize that. At one time, when you put on a suit or you represented yourself and you walked around with your chest stuck out on the things that you did, if you seen a wrong, you corrected it. Now you get in the car, and I'm not blaming those youngsters. I'm not blaming. Now you get in the car and you want the woman to drive you. Now you get in the car and you go open your door and you oh, it's so I'm under the weather, but I'm gonna still get this out today. You get in your door and you sitting down before the woman get in the car, and you could be riding in her car. Where have we gone as a society that we don't put women and young ladies first? Where have we gone as men, the protectors, the alpha male as we call them? Where have we gone? I don't I, I don't get it. And call me whatever you want to call me, and call me that weak man, that this and that. I don't care. If you calling me that, it's something wrong with your anatomy, because if I'm challenging you to be a man and stand up, and I'm seeing women standing up, and when they stand up, we sit down. We sit down for strategies. We sit down because it looks good. We forget who we are. A lion and the pride of women's, they're going to protect them. We are not the lion no more. We need to go back and sit with the cubs, because In the Cubs, they know they can't do anything. They're not going to do anything. And you want to run in and say, oh, no, I don't feel that way. Oh, this is all about politics. It ain't about, how about if I told you this ain't about politics no more? How about if I told you this is about life threats? How about if I told you people coming in their comments, cussing them out, and you agreeing with it because you decided that you didn't want to hear the truth? See, I don't care. I got daughters too. But you know what my daughters do? When it comes to them, if they got a problem, they'll come to their daddy. And they expect daddy to do something about it. But see, sometimes some guys, they talk a lot of, they beat their chest in public, and they hide behind positions and say that this is the way it's supposed to be. No. If you go back in history, and I don't think most of y'all go back in history and look at it. If you go back in history and look at it, people that look like us protected their women. They protected their girls. If their girls excelled to be something else that they're not, they still stood by and protected them. I see few, and I go on here all the time, and I always like referencing this point, because it's important that you understand the perspective of what I'm speaking from. Not about, just take everything else out of it. Just reference this one point that I'm going to share with you. At the end of the day, you may not like Jasmine Crockett because she was direct. You may not have liked her. You may have been on the total other side of it. Then you might have been one of those strategists that just came out and, hey, she don't stand a chance of winning. But here's what I'll say to that. Before I get behind somebody that doesn't represent me, I'm going to stand behind that person. I might go down in flames, but I'm going to stand behind that person as long as they are about right. See, some of y'all, and I say some of y'all because I'm going to talk direct, and I don't care who feelings I hurt. Some of y'all called Bill Clinton the first black president. Oh, you want to own that now because we didn't have one. But you know what Barack had behind him? A strong woman. Y'all want her to step up today. But I wouldn't blame her if she don't step up today, because you have weak-ass men that would come up with every reason why they couldn't support her, or it's a strategy. She couldn't win. But if your ass would have got behind them, maybe they had an opportunity to do something with it. Again, go anywhere. Go to the service station. Sit there and watch a man do his duties or respect for a woman. I don't care how big she is. I don't care how sloppy she is. I don't care how stinky she smells. I don't care what. Some of them, excuse me, ma'am. Let me get that door for you. Watch at the service stations. When you there, see who's sitting in the car with their head on their telephone while their woman is outside pumping the gas. What if that was your sister? Would you drive by and say, "Oh no"? I'll pull up and say, "Hey man, that's my sister. Get your ass up out of that car and go out there and pump that gas." Y'all too weak to even do that. But yeah, we sit here, and I brought up Jasmine Crockett for a reason, because I can show you a pattern of men not standing up for women. See, Jasmine Crockett ran for office. She ran for office. She got attacked afterward for not doing what they say they wanted to do by other people that don't look like her, that felt like they should tell her what she should be doing at that particular point in time, where she should be at and why she's not there and all the rest of this. And you know what you men stood by? Never posted on your page and said anything about it or did anything about it because you felt that she deserved it, I guess. But you won't even, here's what gets me the most. I said death threats. People calling her a name, cussing her out and everything else. And you mean to tell me that you don't have enough empathy in your system to understand what she went through? You don't have enough empathy in your system to come out and use social media. Get social media bold if you can't do anything else. Get social media bold. Make them think that you got a backbone or a spine. We don't even do that. You know what we do? We want to associate it to a loss. But we don't want to put the blame where it should be, and the blame should be with the people on the other side. Yeah, you won. I give you that. I'm clapping that you won. But if you can't stand up and tell your people, if you can't stand up and tell your people in public, I said it in Houston, but you need to understand that I'm saying it to you too. My people, the people that look like you. And I'm talking to James Tallarico. Don't just say it in Houston among your people, and then don't say it in Houston among the people that was there, and not say it to your people when you're in the audience below Houston where you basically dominated. See, you want to hold our politicians to a higher standard. Like Jasmine Crockett, you want to hold her to a higher standard, but you don't hold your politician to that same standard, because if you're attacking her the way that you were, and you're attacking that particular person the way that you were, and he hasn't said nothing to you, he's more worried about your vote than he is about protecting a lady that just ran against him in a party. Yeah, I'm upset. I'm upset because I see daughters in those same positions, because they did something. They stepped outside. They cashed all the right tickets. They went to the right colleges. They sacrificed many of the nights. The parents put time into their child many of the nights, and she lost. Let's accept that. She lost. But do she have to take the abuse that comes after that? If that particular man if he'll stand up and feel emboldened enough to come to Houston, get the black vote, and then tell you to take her name out of your mouth when you're talking to him? Has he did that to his crowd? But see, some of y'all will stand up and defend him. I don't care what he say. Some of y'all are on the other side. It doesn't matter what he do, what he say, how he do it, whatever, long as he running against a certain person. You'll lose your dignity and what you stand for. You'll lose your dignity and what you stand for to help him. See, you have to stand up for something, or you'll fall for everything. See, when I want to say it like this, because I have to establish a pattern. I'm on Jasmine Crockett right now, and y'all gonna say, well, you know that election's over. It don't have nothing to do about the election, because you didn't care about the election when you started attacking her, telling her what she should do. Didn't have a problem. Maybe still doing it. But here's the problem. I'm saying, and I need black men, black men, black men. If you're somebody, stand up. I'm gonna take it a step further so y'all can truly understand what I'm saying, because I talked about Jasmine Crockett at that particular point in time. And y'all say, why are you still talking about Jasmine Crockett? Because they still attacking her in the media. They still attacking her in her social media. Every time she does something, she's still being attacked. But the person that could stop it, rather say something to her people, rather than go to his crowd and say, you know what? I want you to take her name out of your mouth. If you're behind me and you support me, she's already done enough. Don't say it to the people that look like me. Don't say it in that crowd. They're not doing it. Everybody keeps offering this guy excuses for mistake after mistake after mistake. But they need your vote. He needs your vote. And if you just gonna give it to him for no reason at all, that's more on you. Because let me just say this clearly so you can understand. See, Trump is in office. And he can say whatever the hell he wants to in that office. He can do whatever he wants to do in that office for 2 years. Some of y'all so upset with what he's doing that you will sell, that you will give up everything that you stand for. And I can't stand it. And here's why I can't stand it. I can't stand it because you can't serve two purposes. See, your purpose should be to build up your people as a whole, especially being black males. You carry that role. You wear that role because you're the black male, you're the representation of what we should be doing. When we stop being the representation of what we should be doing, everything else falls. And when we allow ourselves to go down, even when we're at the bottom and can't nobody do nothing else for us, sometimes that woman will be there with you. Sometimes that woman will be there with you. It doesn't have to be the woman that you're in a relationship with. It could be your mother. When you're at your worst, your mother will come out and give you just a little bit of inspiration. She didn't have the schooling that you did. She didn't have the education that you did, but she would tell you something like, don't give up. I didn't raise you to give up. Don't change your narrative. I didn't raise you to do that. Some women will tell you that too. Hey, I know you're going through a lot at your job. I know that they trying to do everything that you need, that you're doing out there, but I'm here to tell you, I'm with you. Whichever way that you go. But can they say that today? No, because you'd rather go with a strategy versus supporting them. And then when you're, God forbid, that you lose that good job. I'm not saying, I'm going to say it right because I don't want y'all to come back at me. Some, not all. Some of them will say, you know what, babe? I'm going to carry this for a couple of months. I'm going to allow you to get yourself together. I'm going to allow you to become who you are. Because that control means that we succeed as a people. But when we stop using what makes us strong to go forward as a group, united, we succeed. Divided, we fall. And if we allow situations to come in between united and we're failing because of the where we at, we got a problem. We got a problem because no situation is outside of my house that I can see that's too big that I can't be a part of because I'm gonna support what's in mine. And if we have to change the way that we say who we are, if we have to change our presentation to the public eye, I don't mind doing that. You know why? Because people have sacrificed to do exactly what I'm talking about doing right now. What I'm telling you to do. You know what? And I'm gonna break it down because I need to get people to understand. Back in the day, now I'm gonna say this back in the day, people had Cadillacs parked in their garage. People had fancy cars, but they couldn't drive them to work. You know why? Because if they drove them to work, people would say that, oh, you think you better than us. We paying you too much. We doing this. We doing that. So that what they did was they took them cars and they drove them to church on Sundays. They took mama downtown, had her waving out the window, doing whatever she did or whatever on Sundays, and then come Monday, they got in line. But as males today, we're getting in line and they I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, we getting in line and there ain't no preparation and there ain't no reason to do it. But we get in line. And then we have those few that get out there and beat their chest the hardest. Like they some apes in the jungle or something like that. And as they beating their chest, they sacrificing. So, all right, let's move on from Jasmine Crockett. You say, Ron, you know, that's just politics. Okay, it's politics. All right, we're gonna go with that narrative. I'm gonna go here. We have a young lady that stood up and wanted her questions answered. She wanted her question answered. She wanted it answered on TV so it could be impactful. So she stood up in the crowd and she said something that caught the person that wanted the black vote attention. And you know who does the most, who's doing some of the damage to her behind the scenes? People that look like her. People that look like her. Her name is Candace Weber. And the only reason why I'm calling her name today is because I need to establish a pattern for you to see that I'm not just out here by myself. That I'm not on this side by myself. And I look in the comments, in her comments, when I'm going to make a comment there, I look and I see a couple of people that look like me in her comments, just standing up for what she said. But everybody is the recipient of what she did. He said, well, Ron, how are you saying it? Because the very next day they went to the next black crowd and they changed the way that this man could answer questions because evidently he's not good at answering two questions, one behind another one. They changed it to a format where it was a single question format. What she did was expose something within him that he wants your vote. But he has to be able to go past one question because if I don't feel like he gave me the first answer right, I'm going to ask the second question, a follow-up question. That's what you do in any situation. Even when you're at work and you're doing the job and you don't know the whole job and how somebody wants to do it, you ask the question. If they don't fully give you an answer, you come back and ask another question, and hopefully you get what you want. But if they take that out of your format, especially as a politician that you want to be, because you're going to get in those formats. It ain't got nothing to do with you being young. It ain't got nothing to do with you you said that you were qualified and you was ready. When you qualified and ready, that means that you're able to answer questions. Now, if it's something that's out of where you at, if it's an engineer asking you a question about how an airplane operates and flies and all the rest of that, I can understand it. But if it's a question within the policy that you got to uphold when you get into office, you need to be able to answer that. And if you can't answer it, maybe you shouldn't run for office. If they have to change the format that quick, maybe you shouldn't run for office. But you want the black vote. You go into the and want the black vote, you go to all the blackest of places. And what let me break this down, because I don't think that we as black people we lost. I think we lost our perspective, because if we don't value our church, if we don't value our church, and the man that's standing behind the pulpit doesn't respect the value of that church, and he allows politicians to come in, we're lost. We're lost. We're lost. The sanctity of that church of worship, he can stand outside after the service is over with and say what he want to say when he want to say it. But when you give up that pulpit, you basically saying, I'm not here about God. It's not about God no more. You basically telling him that he's standing between you and God. And if you don't feel the way he do, those people that sitting out in the audience that don't even want him there, you taking away their right. Have you ever thought, just think about what I just got through saying. My place of worship, and I don't want them there, and then you bring them in because you think that you know, we got to go back, and I don't know if we got to go back in time and find who we are, find what made us strong, find what defined the people that we were. But we're lost right now. We're lost as a people. See, when I brought up Jasmine Crockett, I wanted to keep the two incidents separate. Because when you're dealing with AI, GPT, and all the rest of that, see, they try to get ahead of you. So they use patterns. I dropped my remote. They use patterns to get ahead of you. When you ask them a question, they go out there and they look for patterns of stuff going wrong so they can already be where you want to go. It's just that simple. You think they're building, you think that they're the smartest things on earth because they didn't got there. But they go out there and they get all those patterns. And when you ask them a question, they're going back through each and every one of them that's already been established. And then they come to you and give you your answer. And you think that's the greatest thing since mom's apple pie. But ask them a question where there's no pattern established. Ask them a question where it makes a difference. And you understand that they ain't as smart as you think they are. They're only as smart as the answers that you put into them. Challenge them. And see, that's what we need to do. We need to go back to challenging people. We need to go back and challenging those people. If we can't challenge them, why are we voting for them? If we can't ask simple questions, why are we voting for them? And you said, Ron said, well, you're on this thing by yourself. Let me tell you the reason why I'm not on this thing by myself. Because if you actually go out there and look, it's more people following Candace Weber's page since she stood up than it was before. It's more people agreeing with her that this man is not the right person based on his actions. See, And let me take it a step further, because see, the cloud that's in front of you is you seeing all this positive advertisement going on. But here's what I want you to think about what's happening before you, because I don't think that you think far enough down the road to see what's going on. He promised 25 million to black media, but yet he's going to regular stations to get black people to come on board with him. Oh, maybe. Oh, you don't understand what I'm saying. Let me break that down. So for the lame people that's out there, let me break that down for the people that's not with me yet. See, he went on Roland Martin. He said, "I'm gonna give 25 million to black media." Okay, that's fine. And I asked, if you're gonna give 25 million to black media, why didn't you leave a check with Roland? Some people call me on my phone and contact me and ask questions. But why didn't you leave a check with Roland or an advertisement that he's supposed to run, paying him money to run it during his show? Isn't that normal? No, but he left the show and his people say, "Oh no, we're not giving that money to them. We just told them that. What we're going to do is go to national media, to CBS, ABC, and everywhere else, and we're going to establish our black media campaign through them." Through them. We're going to tell people, black people, we want their vote, but we're going to go through the national media chains and tell them. And that's where that 25 million is going, in case you didn't know, because he's not leaving checks with all the other people that he's coming on board, even the black churches. If you're going to use them, get something out of them. Don't just let, I'm going to say it, I'm going to go here. Don't just let the minister pocket money because he comes into the church. They give him a few dollars under the table, a couple of $100, $500, and he brings you into the pulpit, but you never know about that money that minister got to bring him into the pulpit. And he, evidently the minister don't care about you because he didn't turn it in his tithes. He didn't turn it in and say, "You know what? Here's the money that he gave me. I just want to make sure that everybody gets to be a part of it." So when you sit there and you look at these kingmakers and these people, okay, and you sit there and you listen to those people, and they come into your program or into where you at. If they come into where you at, you have to understand that they are there and they taking full advantage of what you're doing. That was my grandson, just in case. I do this from my house. Every feeling that you hear come from me, come from my house. I'm here and I'm making a point and I'm doing something, and I need you to understand that I'm not one of these big people out here with media. I'm not trying to bring you into my church. I'm talking to you from this point of view. So when I say something, I'm saying it to you in your space. In your space. In your space. I got something that, I'm going to say this and I'm going to get out of here because I think I overstayed. Not really that I overstayed, but I'm going to tell you something. And I want to make it to a point where you can understand it. My grandson has an issue that's going on outside of where I'm at right now. And I'm going to try to end this show on this note. You have to put your priorities in place. And I want to continue with this show, but my priorities are outside of where this is at right now. And you see the pattern that I developed. You see what's going on, and you can see it. I'm just asking you to stand up and support somebody that needs your support. I'm asking you to do as Scott, what's his name? Can't think of it. I can't think of his name right now. Do the right thing. Take the right approach. But remember, at what cost that you're taking the right approach? Are you sacrificing somebody else to take the right approach. So with that being said, I'm gonna do end like I always do. I'm gonna say thank God, thank God, thank God, thank God. And God, I really appreciate it. I hope I delivered a message for the people that was out there. For those of y'all that got offended, I'm sorry. It takes more than that time. I'm sorry. So with that being said, I enjoyed it. I'm going to attend to my grandson because that's where my priorities lie.